Matty Fresh on the track up at State. And I'm bringing to you live my boys Alec and Nate. Tequila Ty, Jay, Nelly, and Dylan in the building. So kick it back, pour the drink. We chillin' because I'm boozing and betting and balling like I'm 2-6. And the blue kicks, watch me move quick. Yeah, this the blueprint. So who's getting involved? Welcome into the show. This is Booze, Bets, and Ball, baby.
And welcome back to Booze, Bets, and Ball. And we get to talk about a great win to start the 2024 season for Penn State. Nelly, Penn State goes into West Virginia, deals with a 2.5-hour rain delay at halftime, and wins 34-12 in a game that, honestly, the second it became 13-0 felt over. West Virginia could not move the ball in the Penn State defense. And it was something, Nate and I kind of poked holes in West Virginia on the preview show. Kind of went through their game logs and looked at that their skill position players kind of racked up a bunch of stats against bad teams, and talked about how West Virginia pretty much only beat bad teams outside of beating a Drake May-less North Carolina team in a bowl game. They kind of looked like the same team. I thought Penn State, and we'll get into it, I thought Penn State looked a lot more competent on offense, but Pat McAfee, in my opinion, a lot of people to use the ESPN bet app and lose money because the way he hyped up West Virginia, it certainly seemed that way.
Yeah, dude, no, I was talking to my dad about that today. I was like, the line was literally 7 because of Pat McAfee. There was no other reasoning. No one could give me everybody said the most underrated player is Garrett Green. That's all I heard. They didn't talk about their wide receiver, who's going to throw the ball to, how their defense is going to stop the run game. They're just it's a big game. West Virginia won 9-3, but didn't even show their 9 games were literally cakewalks. And then we just go in there and stomp them. Our offense looked good. Our defense was everywhere. Our defense, even though people were trying to say, because we didn't get too many sacks, which we only got 2, I think. But the amount of pressure we were putting on him to make reads fast when they were talking about he's a first read dude. That put so much pressure on him. I was saying I was all around. I was impressed, especially with the 2-hour delay. I was like, that would be such a Franklin thing to come out. We just get stomped on, and then it's just that would have sucked. But we went out there, played our game. Offense looked better than I've seen in a while. With Trey Wallace went off for us. It's a scary start because I'm buying back in. Because now I'm we better go 11-1 with what I just saw. But then we can talk about how USC played. So because that's going to be a tough game now, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into that. I'd like to enjoy this while we still can. There's going to be plenty of time to talk about USC and Ohio State. Really, I don't want to overreact to week 1 because a lot of people are doing that, and it never really seems to work out. But it's starting to look more now that Penn State's gone through West Virginia and Wisconsin didn't look good. It's really looking like a 2-game schedule for Penn State this year, which, to be honest with you, is nothing new. It's just we're swapping Michigan with USC. So it's kind of the same old. We'll get to there at some point, but obviously want to start with Drew Aller. Drew Aller didn't really have to do much in the second half, but in the first half throws 3 touchdown passes, 2 really good throws on 2 of them to Harrison Wallace. Harrison Wallace, obviously huge game, over 100 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns. But man, the thing with me is Aller looked a lot more comfortable. He wasn't jumpy in the pocket, throwing the ball away. When he got into trouble in the pocket, he took off and got first downs with his legs, which is something he didn't really do last year. He wasn't wildly overthrowing guys or anything like that, things he kind of did when the play broke down last year. Andy Kotelnicki obviously has simplified things for him, but he just looks like a way more confident player, and that just makes him a million times more dangerous in my opinion, because the talent's always been there. I felt like last year was a lot of mental stuff. And if he has that figured out, the sky's the limit for him.
I was about to say, like, his talent was there, like, his 5-star. I mean, number 1 player in his class. Like, you got to have some type of talent to be that. When I had good wide receivers, so, I mean, it was good to see Trey Wallace step up for him. I mean, he was cooking their defense all day. And then, I mean, like, in the beginning, it kind of scared me because I think he, like, underthrew or overthrew, like, a wide open pass to start the game. And then, like, it was like a 3-and-out. But then he settled in. The only thing I didn't like about our offense, I saw like a tweet about this, was like once Drew started to get going, they put Bowen. Like he'll get like 3 in a row, and then they threw Bowen, which I like throwing Bowen to the game. But like once he started getting a roll, especially for Drew, like you said, he was lacking confidence last year. It seemed like you got to keep him going. And then I was gonna say that too. Like I've never really seen him like I know he's our captain, but I've never seen him be like vocal, like too vocal, where like you're noticing it personally. Yeah. And like I saw like pregame like videos of him like talking to everybody, get everyone hyped. He was talking shit during the game, which I never saw last year. Like when he stiff armed Hosea Trotter, which wasn't he supposed to come here?
Like it was close to his kind of recruited him. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. But it was just cool to see him like get up and like get in his face and talk shit. Because I'm like,
yeah.
If we have a confident Drew and our wide receivers can be like somewhat okay, and our tight ends are tight ends, our running backs are running backs, our offense can be very, very explosive, I think.
Yeah, and he got in the face of the ref after the whole clapping thing. That was very – he looked like Hackenberg doing that. I got some like Hackenberg PTSD from that because I was at the game, obviously, and that happened kind of with his back turned to me and just his stature and everything. If you swapped that 15 with a 14, I would have thought that was Christian Hackenberg. I thought that was so funny. And I thought it was good to see, too. Obviously, it sucked in the moment, but they got the ball back on the next play, so whatever. And he got into a rhythm. But I know I mentioned this. It was like Aller has 1,000 times the arm talent, at least, of Trace McSorley and Sean Clifford. But what made the two of them good was they didn't really give a shit. They were very much like put their body on the line, go do whatever they needed to do to win. And I didn't really see that from Aller last year. I didn't see all the way there yet, and I don't want the kid to get hurt. So let's not, go as crazy as Cliff did at times, because obviously it backfired on Cliff at times and he got pretty banged up. But he looked like he gave more of a shit. And I think that was really important to see, which I really liked. So that's what I'd say on Aller. I thought the O-line held up pretty well. The West Virginia defensive line I thought was really overrated. I didn't think they were good, but I also think they were getting a little too much hype. Guys like Sean Martin and Vitor Mulba are not what I want to be comparing my Big Ten offensive line to, I guess is the best way to put it. But they gave him a clean pocket. And then in the second half, they opened up lanes for Singleton. Singleton looked really good. Katron Allen had a weird game, like 10 carries for 20 yards, but had the huge touchdown through the passing game. Both those guys, it's very rare that both of them are going to click the same game. It was more Singleton this time around, 2 40-yard runs after I think, he didn't have one last year.
Yeah.
Just crazy. So,
yeah. I mean, Allen, he wasn't that good. But, dude, the mic'd up moment, did you hear what he
Yeah. No, they had a couple hot mic moments, which were pretty funny.
That was funny. But, overall, I mean, our O-line played great. Well, not great, but I thought they played better than everybody thought they were going to, especially with a few new starters. Well, like, they played before, but I guess starters-wise, like, getting in there, starting your first game is always big. And I mean, our tight ends did their job. I mean, I think Luke Reynolds, did he play a decent amount I saw in there?
Yeah, he did, because Dinkins didn't play.
Oh, yeah.
So Reynolds and Rappley did not record a catch. I think they combined for maybe like 3 targets.
Okay.
There was one where I was kind of bummed. I think it was 2 Reynolds kind of chip blocked and then went out on the flat, but Drew had a guy in his face and overthrew him by a half step. I would have loved to see what would have happened if he would have caught that and turned upfield.
Yeah.
I think I really would have been interested to see how that would have went because, they kind of talk about he's kind of like a Brock Bowers, yards after the catch type tight end. Would have loved to see how that play would have went. Maybe this week we see what he can do, but would have liked to see that. But other than that, Tyler Warren, 3 for 30 with a touchdown, big completion on a 4th down. And then I think his other catch was on a 3rd down conversion too. And then the other one was obviously the touchdown pass from Pabula. So only 3 catches, but all 3 meant something. And if that's what Tyler Warren's role is, I prefer that kind of be what, wide receivers 2 role is, whether that be Clifford or Fleming. They kind of make those clutch couple plays a game and Warren becomes more of a dynamic player. Maybe that'll grow over the course of the season. But I thought enough guys contributed to where they kept West Virginia pretty honest. I think West Virginia thought Julian Fleming was wide receiver 1 because I know I tweeted this. If you look at the recent For the Bloggy film study, on 3 of Penn State's passing touchdowns, 2 guys followed Julian Fleming and no one followed the guy who caught the ball. So that was pretty funny. Fleming did not record a catch, but he was pretty much responsible for 3 touchdowns. So, it's not in the box score, but it definitely helped win the game.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say something about I saw your tweet about the decoys. How he was out there, but he was getting 2 people on him. So you're making one-on-one situations and open throws. Easy throws for Drew. So he didn't do anything, which people are gonna say it's 0 catches, whatever. He got locked up, but he really got our guys open and helped a lot. The only thing is, I agree. I want to see the next few games. It won't really Julian Fleming gets 102 touchdowns, great versus Bowling Green and Kent State for confidence wise, but it's show me when it actually matters against a Big Ten opponent or anybody really that's not an FCS. So other than that, I think our offense played all around great. I want to see a wide receiver 2 step up, and then I think there's not too. There's always something to perfect, but I thought for first game, that was a pretty good play by our offense.
Yeah, they did a lot of gimmicks, which I kind of expected just because I don't think they fully trust the receivers that much. I thought until he threw the touchdown pass, I thought the Bo Prabula thing was a little bit overused because they were just running it every time. I think they need to keep that honest, and I'm sure they'll incorporate more to this. So Drew does not leave the field on those plays. Eventually, there's going to be something where he throws it back to Drew, and then Drew throws it back to him or something. Something crazy is definitely going to come out of that package. And obviously, there was no reason to show that in week 1 when you were up by 15 and your defense was dominating. So I get that. So it was very vanilla with what they did with Prabula. But I'm sure in USC, Ohio State, Wisconsin games, it's going to be a different story. There's going to be a lot more that comes out of it. The hope is it just doesn't blow up in their face and turns in an ugly turnover. But I don't think that's going anywhere. If you're going to run that much in week 1, you're definitely running it. Because I think, remember in years past when they kind of did the Lions stuff with Tommy Stevens and Will Levis, they didn't really bring it out until more the middle part of the season. After a couple games, they were trying to incorporate it more in the season. They actually went into the season with this plan, which was interesting.
Yeah, I hated when we used Will Levis, and Tommy Stevens could catch too, but Will Levis, I swear, anytime he went out there, just you knew he was running the ball. There was no doubt in my mind. I'm literally when he became mid-game against Ohio State. He got us back down 21-0 to 21-17 in that game, but literally by running. He was just plowing their defense because he was 6'6", massive, strong dude. But at a point, they're gonna stop you, which they did. They made him throw, and he threw it right to the linebacker. So you need to keep them honest. And it is weird that Bo's already doing that, but they told us that they were gonna use Bo a lot, so I guess they are gonna use him almost every game. I want to see him when he threw the ball, when he threw versus Ole Miss, he threw dimes and he got a lot of yards. So he can throw the ball and he can make the reads. So I think you definitely got to keep him honest. especially like when you have Singleton in the backfield and like you don't have to use Bo when he's in. They're going to be so like on Bo because he's in the game. Let your other playmakers make plays too.
Yeah. They're going to do different things. They're going to eventually Quinn Martin's going to get incorporated in the offense too. They didn't play unless I don't think he played at the end. I think it was Cam Wallace who was kind of running the clock out at the end of the game. I think they're going to incorporate him just because he's a bigger running back and he, from his high school days, was a pretty good pass catcher too. So I think eventually we'll see him brought in. But kind of the way the receiving room is shaking out right now, it's like Trey Wallace is the number one. We'll see if he can stay a number one. Omari Evans is going to be like your big play guy. And then it's Clifford and Fleming are your blocking / possession receiver guys. It's not glamorous, but I think that group doing those kind of things could be enough to get them by this season. Obviously, I don't think win a national championship, but at least make some noise this year with that group doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, they just got to do their job. As long as you do your job with our team, I mean, our defense is that good. I think we have good enough players all around to win games if we keep it close. I just think if we keep it close, I think anything can happen. Trey, you never know who could step up. I mean, we got our tight ends like we talked about. We could also be those wide receiver 2 guys, I guess, if you really need them to be. But I just need to see Fleming or Clifford, I guess, even Caden go out there, someone start making plays. I mean, we didn't really need it last week, of course, because once we got that lead, we just kind of blew it out. And they got freaking 9 points. I don't even get into those refs calling those first downs and the replay. That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, those were pretty crazy. Neither of them were close. I really don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the touchdown wasn't close, but then it's they called it on the field, so it's I kind of could get it. But the first down play was literally 2 yards short.
No, he didn't move forward. I don't know where they got that spot from. It was super weird. The officiating was pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, we had that Mari Evans chuck up, which did lead to a touchdown. So I guess it was payback, but
I guess. But I mean,
still, those were bad.
To me though, is because you can't go back and call a flag. So if you miss a flag in real time is one thing, but they looked at both those plays. I don't know how even a second time they were oh yeah, we're right. That's what blows my mind about those.
Yeah, no, I guess that is true. I mean, if it was OPI, it's 15 yards back, but I mean, either way, yeah, you can't replay that. You can literally look at where the spot was, and everybody saw it on TV.
Right.
It was not close.
I mean, even I went back and watched parts of the game, and Joe Klatt and Gus Johnson were wow, that's crazy or whatever.
Yeah, that's terrible.
If the announcer's saying that, it's pretty bad. But
yeah, I mean, he also said that was why I brought it up too, because he said it for us too when they missed it. I remember hearing that. I was dude, F off. I was come on. But yeah, I mean, that was terrible. But I mean, what can you do? Either way, we still won and didn't let it bother us too much. So, good job.
Yeah. So last thing I want to say on the offense, we kind of just talked about it. Before the half drive, in the past, Penn State is kneeing there 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
The fact they took the shot, connected on the shot, which they didn't do at all last year, and then Aller threw maybe the best pass of his Penn State career to Wallace for that touchdown. Just that window he placed that in was sick. Right in the corner of the end zone. Awesome throw. That was really exciting to see because one, Aller looked comfortable and confident, and two, Kotelnicki had confidence in him with 22 seconds on their own 20 to go down and get him a touchdown. I just thought that was awesome. And both receivers made great plays on both catches. So all the way around, that was just a really encouraging drive for me.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, 15, what was it, 15 seconds or how many seconds were left?
I think it was 22 when they snapped the ball. When the big catch ended, it was maybe 16, 15.
Yeah, I mean, that was great to see. Also, if the rain delay or whatever didn't happen, I'm pretty sure they were getting the ball back, right?
Yeah,
Or
we were getting the ball back. So it was pretty much a double up because they
okay,
scored out
yeah,
of half.
you were getting the ball back. So yeah, that was like that changed the whole game. They stop us. I mean, they get the momentum tactically. I mean, you don't really know anything could help a team going into the halftime just to give them a spark. So I mean, it was definitely great to just kind of make that a 2-score game right off the bat, and then we know we get the ball back. God, like we get out there and score again, already 3-score game. Like that changes the whole game.
Yeah,
So
the game's over there. But
I mean, I haven't seen that since Trace, like just chucking that ball up, like having those offensive players. But it was great to see, and hopefully, I mean, Drew can keep playing like this. Need him to if we want to make it far.
yeah. So I guess a couple quick notes on the defense. I thought the secondary looked insane. Now, I was never one to believe that Garrett Green was this ungodly passer, and I wasn't necessarily scared of West Virginia's receivers, but the way the safeties flew around the field, making tackles both in the run game and kind of in the outside passing game, it looked like those guys have been tackling for a couple months. First game of the year, usually people are like, oh, a bunch of missed tackles and stuff. Like the Purdue game a couple years ago, we didn't tackle well. Purdue didn't tackle well. Remember that game was just so weird because of things like that. They tackled really well in this game. The safeties, especially. So Reed gets named like defensive player of the game by Penn State, and then KJ Winston goes and gets named Big Ten defensive player of the week. So both safeties got huge honors. I thought all the new cornerbacks looked really good. There was not a lot of easy, even when West Virginia did convert a big pass play, a lot of them were in tight windows. That one they converted on that 4th down where they scored the touchdown, like that was a super tight window. I think their first scoring drive, they had a couple tight window passes too. So nothing was easy. So I thought that was good. Tony Rojas looked really fast. The one thing I will say, Abdul Carter was a little jumpy, a couple offsides calls. First game at defensive end, I think he'll settle in, but I think he still needs to get the timing thing down because obviously when you come from the linebacker position, you can start running before the snap starts because you're not going to cross the line of scrimmage. When you play on the line of scrimmage, you can't do that because it's offsides. I think he's still trying to figure that part out, but once he does, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, our defense played lights out, basically. Essentially, like, couldn't really do much more. I mean, our D-line held the best Power 5 running offense last year to 80 yards when they're averaging, like, some, like, crazy amount. And then, I mean, yeah, our secondary, like you said, was all over the field. Jalen Reed, I thought for sure, should have won, like, our team and Big Ten. But, I mean, Kevin Winston also had 12 tackles and a forced fumble. So, I mean, like, he was flying over. Jalen Reed, I thought, by far was the best defensive player out there. Maybe the best player on the field all day with the way he, like, Franklin said it best, like, he was moving better than everyone, faster than everyone. He just seemed to know, like, off the first play of the game, our corner got beat, and Jalen got there to swat out of his hand. Because if they would have caught, dude, I was so scared. I was like, this is the first play. If they go 40-yard pass, we could be screwed here because that could just set them up momentum touchdown already in like under a minute. So, I mean, he was just first play. He was just insane. AJ Harris played great. I thought Kimber played good too. Like it was like you said, Rojas.
He tackled a lot better than like him coming to Penn State. The mark on him wasn't a physical tackler. He looked pretty physical in this game. So if he figured that out, I think you're getting a more complete corner in Kimber.
Yeah, I mean, then the only thing like we were talking about last pod, or I guess 2 pods ago, was our linebacker depth. Like that, we still need to see that. Like Tony Rojas, I thought played great. Kobe King, like he always does his job, no complaints. And then like I guess our third linebacker we're still kind of finding. Like DeLuca's there, and then they played Elson a little bit. He's like they're okay, just need to do their job. But we have no one like we need to see Tamir play a little bit. Keys leaving us definitely did kill us. So we're going to have to hope no one gets hurt. And they have the best cardio on the team. But, I mean, the defense, I don't really have too many complaints from what they could do better. They got screwed on a couple of 4th downs. I mean, they did bend, don't break, typical Penn State. defense on the tush push. They thought that Philly like that. Come on, the Penn State like easily knew that was coming, and that was great to see. I mean, D line played great. I mean, not much else. The only next thing is special teams, and once again, still hoping you can make a kick.
Yeah, so I didn't realize this. So Center Haydock missed another kick. The game was already over by the time this happened, but he's never made a kick in a game.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until after the game. Someone, don't remember who it was, tweeted that. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a huge problem. I didn't realize this kid has never seen one go in. So this week against Bowling Green, please just put one through the uprights and get your confidence straight. They need it. I mean, seriously, they're not going to be able to go through this whole season with no kicking game. It's got to happen. He's, Franklin's never. Okay, so I take that back. His Stout was really good, but outside of Stout, Franklin's just kind of been like, you give me everything 40 and in, I'm happy. All of the past guys under Franklin just been like, give me 40 and in, I'm happy. Just give me 40 and in, I'm happy. I know he missed from 41. Give me 40 and in, I'm happy. That's just the only way I could put it. Last thing on the defense, they held that West Virginia running attack, which includes Garrett Green, to 85 total yards. Now, part of that was the score, I guess, but I thought the D tackles looked really good, which is very encouraging. Because obviously they've kind of been the one, I don't want to say downfall, or weakness, but they've been the weaker link on that defense the last couple of years. So if they're up to par, obviously new dynamic for that defense, which is super cool to see. But yeah, special teams got to make some kicks. Other than that, I mean, kick coverage is good. I mean, they really could have shut them out in that game. You remember the first field goal drive, Kevin Winston kind of missed an interception and ended up in Cole Taylor's hands.
That's the play. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Something tipped it and became like a big play. It was Winston. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he either breaks that up or catches it.
Yeah.
They probably don't score there. Then the second scoring drive was when they converted that fourth down that they didn't get and got another field goal. And then their touchdown drive was when CJ Donaldson was clearly short of the goal line. So, I mean, Penn State easily could have pitched a shutout in this game. So I just thought that was super encouraging too. I don't know. Defense played awesome. They really did play good enough to pitch a shutout.
Yeah, I mean, our defense played great. And then, like, Tom Allen, great first, like, Penn State's, like, coaching game. I mean, defense played as good as always. That, like, we're always a hard-hitting and bend-don't-break style of football, which I love. If we can just keep the turnovers, like, we just need to win the turnover battle. And then our special teams, yeah. I mean, like, he's 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 versus West Virginia now. I forget which one. Like, literally, if it's, like, 4th and 2, like, and we're up, like, 21-0 already, like, just let us kick it. Like, he needs one.
Yeah.
Because, like, if he can't kick these, like, we're going to be in a rough awakening when we go to USC. If they're undefeated still till then, like, they'll have a pretty good crowd. And
I totally agree.
I mean, it was like, and it was the fourth quarter or whatever. Like, we won the game. Like, there was really not any pressure on him to make it. So, like, it kind of still scary that he's missing when there's, like, really no pressure. Because, like, if you're playing, like, when I played baseball, like, you're going up, like, you're down 7, like, bottom of the 9th. Like, you're like, whatever. Like, if you don't get on here, it doesn't matter. Like, that, like, we won the game already. So it's just, like, kind of scary, like kind of stressing, but I mean, we should be fine, but we'll see. He might get to lose his job again, which would kind of suck for him, but
yeah. All right, so let's turn gears to Bowling Green for a minute. I'm glad we didn't have to really focus on this game. So Penn State's 34.5-point favorites, home opener at noon this Saturday. Bowling Green beat Fordham 41-17 last week. That doesn't do anything for me at all. I don't know. Do you think they cover? I'm kind of the belief that coming off an emotional road win, getting a lot of hype, they're probably going to try to rotate guys. I think they win comfortably, obviously, but I'm not getting 35. 5 touchdowns is a lot to win by. And Bowling Green's competent. I'd say they're not UMass and Delaware from last year, where it was 63-0. I think Penn State wins by maybe like 28 to 30 points. I don't see them covering, but I'd see like a 30, a 38 to 10, a 38 to 7, something like that type win.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will be close to the spread. Like 28 to 31 probably, or somewhere around there. But my thing is, if we cover and we cover like handily, like then I'm like, all right, maybe if this team can score quick, even against these bad teams, like we haven't been doing that recently. Like we put up numbers, like if we're beating teams like 63-0, like Ole Miss last week, 3-0. Like if we're going up that high, then it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be nice to see. Like I really hope we cover. Like our defense should honestly easily shut them out, even our backups. But like you never know with the rotating. But I'm taking us to cover, but I think it could be easily below. Like not like 20 to 31 probably is my prediction, but I'm gonna take us to cover just because I want to. I think our offense is better than we think still. Like even like last week, like just from that, like people don't want to believe too much yet, but I still think we have a lot to see and a lot of plays and a lot of like explosive play. Like I'm ready for this offense. So I say we cover, and Singleton has a freaking field day on their defense.
Yeah, I think Singleton will have a big game too. I don't know how privy they're going to be to throwing the ball all around, but
yeah,
we'll see. You got any young guys you want to see in this game? I think I kind of gave mine away earlier. I'd really like to see Luke Reynolds catch a couple balls, see what happens. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Luke Reynolds, but I don't know any young guys. Maybe extended Cam Wallace time, something like that.
Yeah, I mean Quentin Martin, I would like to see just because from all his highlights and how like highly ranked he was and like the hype we got for getting him. It'd be cool to see him play a little bit, see if he can show some flashes. On defense, I want to see Dakari Nelson. I
Yeah,
always liked him. It'd be cool to see. I mean, I know he switched to linebacker, which is different for him than usual. So I mean, it'd be cool to see him even if he gets in that safety in as linebacker, whatever they put him at in the secondary, whatever. I just want to see him out there. I think he's a hard hitter, good at defense. They're just like defense is so stacked. Like, did Zakee Wheatley play that? Sorry, this is so random. Did he play that much last game, or was I like tripping?
I think he did. Reed was playing like a lot of like that nickel star position, so I think Wheatley was kind of playing safety. It's kind of hard to see. You know what the problem is? All of those cornerbacks have the numbers like 1 through 8.
Yeah,
and I'm getting them all confused.
yeah.
So, because they all those small numbers, so it's hard for me to keep track of who's who all the time. But I'm pretty sure he did get in there. I mean, they're pretty much playing 3 safeties in Wheatley, Winston, and Reed. Wheatley kind of has more of that ball hawk mentality to him, where I think Reed and Winston are maybe a little more physical, like tackler type guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wheatley was definitely in there playing a lot. I did not see a snap counter yet from Saturday. 247 usually puts one out. I don't know if it's out yet, so I'd have to look at that. But I know he was out there. I think they're gonna get Lane, the freshman, out there a little bit too at safety this game. I could see that happening. And I guess at receiver, I'd like to see there was some Tyseer Denmark hype.
Oh yeah.
If they get him out at receiver in the second half of this game, I'd be kind of interested to see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of young players hopefully will be able to play after half this week, so we can see if we got any stars in a few years. Never know.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this one. We think and hope we're going to be talking about a big win over Bowling Green next week, and then we talk about Kent State. So, no, we talk about a bye week, right?
Yeah, it goes bye week, Kent State,
Illinois or something.
Illinois, USC.
UCLA.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's so many games. Holy.
Yeah, so I should have brought this up earlier. Penn State doesn't leave Happy Valley for like 40 days.
Yeah, and it's such terrible games too. It sucks.
Yeah. So they obviously get home this past Saturday night from the West Virginia game. and then they don't leave for USC until like October 8th or 9th. The game's the 12th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Franklin had said for West Coast trips, they're going to leave a couple days earlier to get, acclimated, no jet lag, stuff like that. So yeah, what was that game? October 31st or August 31st? And they're not going to leave State College until October 9th? That's insane. That is an insane time to be home. And then to go from home to California is going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll talk about that when we get there. But I did want to note, this is the start of the longest Penn State homestand I could think of.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I just wanted like one good game, but like I guess mostly about any of these teams, but either way, would have been nice to have like a UCLA before.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, UCLA is home. That's the last home game.
Yeah.
That's October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we do get one, but they almost I'm not okay, I don't want to get into all of this, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind. Penn State's gonna be home for a while.
Yeah.
With a bye week in there. So yeah, we'll come back next week, I guess, talk about what Penn State did against Bowling Green. Let you go for the bye week. I'm sure it'll be a short one next week. Just kind of hopefully talking about a bunch of racked up offensive stats. But we'll talk to you then and see what the rest of the country does. Because there's a lot of interesting games this week. Michigan and Texas, chief among them. So we'll talk about those too. And we'll meet next week. Talk to you guys then.